So 5 years ago, Creed 2 hit theaters, and it was a pretty well-regarded movie. People loved it. People weren't really saying anything negative, but now, 5 years later, in 2023, we have Creed 3 hitting theaters, and I gotta say, man, this movie blew me away. Like, I was having a great time watching this movie. Now, as a lot of you know, I am not particularly a sports fan. Sports aren't really my thing. I didn't really grow up watching it, but I did go through all of the Rocky movies with my dad, and I saw Creed 2, and then I saw Creed 3, and I'm like, okay, going into Creed 3, I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna be, your typical good boxing movie, kind of like the other Rocky films, but this leans more into a drama rather than a sports movie, and I really like what they did here. As far as this review goes, we're going to be talking about stuff that I liked, stuff that I didn't particularly like, and then stuff that I feel was a little okay, but could have been better, could have been improved upon, And honestly, I don't want to waste any time, man. Let's get right into it. Now, this is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut, and he knocked it out of the park. He did a phenomenal job. There is a lot of pressure when it comes to directing, especially this almost 50-year franchise that people have such crucial memories of, and you were just given this plate of characters and the setting and all these established themes and all that, and you're just said, hey, go do something with this. And Michael B. Jordan, man, he did his thing. Obviously, kudos to the writers as well. Yeah, man, this is very heavily stylized film. For example, in the first fight scene that we see, there is a moment where Adonis is looking at his opponent and the fight slows. The fight slows for just a second. You're focused on Adonis's eyes, what he's seeing, what he's analyzing from his opponent, and then he strikes. Now, in this fight, a couple seconds prior, we had seen him kind of looking at this area, this exposed weakness that his opponent has, and it's the timing. You can see the gears working in his head. It's the show, not tell. And I love that. I love when stories adhere to this, because very easily there could have been a moment where, like, this way, he's moving this way. I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. And we're in his head. We could hear his thoughts, but we see it. We see why Adonis is the heavyweight world champion. We see why he was such a prodigy. I love this. A lot of the slow-mo was used, and it never really felt like it was too exaggerated or it was too crazy or it was just, more fast and furious. They used a really good amount. They didn't use it too much, but when it mattered, it really mattered, especially in the final fight, which I'll get to in just a second. But they did great job. Cinematography was definitely on point here. There was a couple of points where, especially in the locker room, where you have Michael B. Jordan's character and Jonathan Majors' character, Dame, and they're kind of looking at each other through these walls, and the colors really popped there for me for some reason. Why, I couldn't exactly tell you. Maybe it's because Michael B. Jordan's character was surrounded in some of this blue. That's how he's kind of feeling. He's down, he's guilty, and Jonathan Majors, his character's in this bright kind of yellowish room, and he's fighting for the stardom that he wants to have. And so I think that's a little bit of what I was feeling. And speaking of Jonathan Majors, man, I mean, I don't know where this dude came from. I don't know how he just shot up to mainstream stardom. You can't even call him an industry plant, because this man's acting is on another level. This man is serious. God, people talked about how he carried Ant-Man, but I can't even say he carried this movie, because everybody was just, they upped their game on this movie, man. This was wild. Jonathan Majors, his acting and his facial expressions in the diner scene where he's just thinking of what he wants to say to Adonis, that he's sitting there, he's angry, he's sad, he's happy to see his brother again, and you see everything he's thinking on his face, but they don't tell you, they show it. Yes, this is what I want to see. So in this movie, Adonis and Dame were, some, kids. They weren't exactly angels, as Adonis puts it, but, they were kind of getting into some stuff, nothing too terrible. They're into some stuff, and at one point, there was an altercation. Dame ended up going to jail, while Adonis ended up running away, and he got away. Their relationship, their chemistry in this movie is so potent. It is so potent that there is nothing else I can even describe their relationship as but potent. The chemistry that Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan have in their scenes, it is crazy. The tension, you can just reach through the air and feel every fiber of their emotions. There's this scene where Jonathan Majors is feeling almost betrayed, but he never says it. He's just like, man, I'm good, man. I don't need a handout. And looking back on it, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh, he's just, he's being prideful. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, he needed you, and you left him. And I love this movie, man. I love this movie. I don't like sports like this, but this movie is great. As far as the character of Adonis goes, he's challenged. It's almost like he keeps running from the past. I mean, even I believe on the beach scene, Dame makes a comment straight up saying, oh, the only thing you're good at is running. And even the scene where they're talking on ESPN, and then Dame calls him and he's like, man, the only thing you do is run, man. You were a coward, man. And all these things that he's saying. It's man, these character themes. And obviously the Rocky movies are known for having the big fights as the characters encountering their internal problems that they're facing. I haven't watched any of the Rocky movies recently, so I can't really exact description of this, but it's obviously a very well-known theme. And here, fighting Dame and going through all this in the training, it's all about guilt. It's all about guilt, letting it go, forgiveness. Honestly, if you really wanted to like erase the title Creed 3, it would be Forgive or Forgiveness. That's what this is really all about. The final 2-3 minutes of the movie, it's these grown men acknowledging that they were children, that what happened to them was unfortunate, it sucked, but it's not either of their faults. There were the circumstances that were given to them, and they had to make do with what they had. I absolutely cannot talk about how much the Jonathan Majors blew me away in this film, man. That he gotta be my man crush. I'm sorry, he has to be, man. This man was going. Listen, I had to side eye my girl a couple times when he was on screen. You know what I'm saying? The choreography in this is really well done as well. I know I specifically talked about how stylized the things were shot, but man, these blows and some of the things that these dudes are taking, man, you feel it. You feel it. And kudos to the sound designers too, because the impact on these hits, they don't sound stock or anything like that. I can like hear some of these dudes just getting like like you feel it in your chest. Like there was a punch there was a punch that Adonis got hit with, and it just like you could feel the wind getting ripped out of his lungs, man. So kudos to the choreographers. Side note, and I'll probably talk about this and things I didn't like. There is absolutely no way that Felix was in the same weight class as Dame. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm looking at this, I'm like, dude, Jonathan Majors has to be like 6'1", like 240, 250, a straight diesel. There is no way he is fighting this man Felix fairly. You know what I'm saying? Another theme that this movie also deals with is jealousy, seeing someone else live out your dreams. More specifically, when it comes to Adonis's wife, she can't really sing anymore. It's just really not in the cards for her, but she's still writing for other people, but that's still her work. She feels like she's almost singing other people's songs, even though those came from her head. Those are her babies that she's watching, but they're not hers. And so kind of dealing with that and kind of coping with something, seeing someone else have something that you don't, that you want, seeing someone else live your dream. That is another thing that this film deals with. I think it does a really good job kind of realizing that, hey, this is where we're at. You got to move forward. You got to keep walking and it'll be okay. Absolutely phenomenal. Things I didn't like. This list is very short. There's not a lot that I didn't like about this film, man. I would like a longer runtime. That's a very good problem to have. If I want a longer if I need a longer runtime because I'm enjoying the product that you're giving me and I want more, you did something right. There's there's not a lot I can think of. I'm actively struggling to think of things I didn't like in this movie. I suppose we can talk about the elephant in the room. There was no Rocky in this movie, considering that this is a Rocky spin-off series. It is strange to not have the titular character of the first 5 movies not show up. Now, obviously, there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that I don't feel bothered to talk about, nor do I want to. But long story short, Sylvester Stallone, current producer, they don't get along, bunch of other drama. But I do feel like that Rocky wouldn't necessarily have a arc or presence in this movie. I do think that for the most part, I couldn't see where to shoehorn it. It's not like you can have a cameo and just have like, Sylvester Stallone cheering Adonis on in the crowd, and that's at the final fight, and that's the only thing you can see. of him in the movie. You can't do that. He's too large of a character. He's too important. So it's like, what do at this point? I think the character of Duke really fulfilled his end of the bargain as far as providing substance to the story. He's still in that coach role, but still is constructive, still nurturing. He was still a little rougher on the edges as he has been in the previous films, but wasn't in a begrudging way. It was more in a, hey, I'm trying to get you straight. I'm trying to get you on this path. One thing I didn't necessarily love was almost strange turn of anger that Adonis had when it came to confronting his past, talking with his wife. We had kind of seen this in the previous movies where he kind of has this hothead temper, but for the most part, he already had confronted this and he had already kind of dealt with it and moved on. He knows how to move now. He's older. So seeing him get very apprehensive with his wife and getting into a shouting match, it was a little jarring. I get it. It was not out of the realm of possibility. It was just a little strange to me, especially that at this point, he has known his wife almost 10, 11 plus years. That yes, he understands that he doesn't have to, this is something painful in his past and it sucks and it hurts, but at this point, you can't dodge the problem. You can't run away. Dame is here. Dame is in your life. He's in your face. She's going to need to know this is important stuff. God forbid something happens in your household. He knows where you live. You know what I mean? One thing I got to say is the scene with Adonis and his daughter at the beginning of the movie was so damn cute. That's adorable. That was very, very wholesome, very sweet. Also, shout out to Stephen A. Smith for cameoing in this movie. That was really weird to see him. But he did his thing. It felt legit. He did his thing in there. Good job. Another thing that I felt almost kind of detracted from Dame's character was the revelation that he had set up the man who had took out the previous opponent. I forgot, but there's supposed to be a big fight that Felix was supposed to have, and the fact that he had known the guy in prison was odd to me, and I was hoping that wasn't true. I was hoping for Dame. I was actively rooting for Dame in this. I was really hoping that he was just down on his luck. He was desperate. I understand why he did it, because that was an opportunity he had. He wanted to grab the opportunity and seize it. It did kind of just, it was unfortunate to see a character I was actively rooting for engage in this really big act of deception. Really odd to me. The beach scene, I was with Dame 100% until the beach scene, and I get it. It wasn't totally crazy. He was drinking, but some of the things that did kind of purposely embarrass Adonis. It's like, why purposely clown? Like, even the swing that when he swung on him, it was really weird. I wasn't with it. I was not with it. These are more things I didn't like about his character. I still love it. But yeah, you lost me. You lost me there, man. You're angry at him. You want to do this. You want to say that. This film also talks about, the male masculinity and opening up and being able to talk about things. But just the swing on him was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. You are clowning him in front of these people. It's like, for what? For what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? I understand you're hurt. You're angry that he didn't write. He didn't text you, call you, do whatever you were writing to him. But this isn't the way to do it. It's just odd. And really, those are more like my mixed feelings things. Those aren't really anything I feel too strong again overall. But man, what a movie, what a debut for Michael B. Jordan, man. I gotta give him all the props, man. He did his thing on this. This movie was fantastic. Loved it. Again, wish it was a little longer. There wasn't anything I didn't hate or I didn't, there wasn't anything that I felt was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, this is awful. There were some really minor nitpicks, but again, man, this movie is awesome. That final fight sequence I loved when the stadium cleared. It was literally straight out of an anime. Just the over exaggerated circumstances in the characters' heads where the stadium clears. Just them. They're in their respective corners. Their coaches are, talking to them, trying to give them tips and all that. And it's just, only thing they see is each other. The ring on their feet and just them. And you have this scene where Dame, he sees the bars that he was behind. He's got, Donnie up against him, and then you see the pillow or the cushion they used to practice on when they were kids, right behind Donnie too. And then, man, you feel the passion, the hurt that these two men are feeling because they're brothers, man. They want to do this. They love each other. You know what I mean? Like, they grew up together. They don't want to be fighting. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually going through not something similar, but I am kind of having a thing with someone I'm really close to at this time, and it kind of got me emotional seeing. It's like, man, I don't want to do this with you. I don't. This is stupid. You know what I mean? Like, my love for you eclipses all this. So why are we fighting? You know what I mean? And that's where they get to at the end of the movie. Man, they phenomenal. Go check this out if you haven't. Definitely worth your time. But yeah, man, that's about all I have. I really can't think of anything else to say, man. Please let me know what you guys think about Creed 3, man. Do you guys love it as much as I do? Because I love it. What a good year for movies so far, man. Puss in Boots was an absolute sleeper. It just came up and it came out and people were like, whoa, this is really, really good. This movie came out. What else came out? RRR. Well, I guess that was like December or something. I just watched that. That was amazing as well. But man, just yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, man. But just thank you so much for listening. Make sure you guys leave a like in the video, subscribe, all that good YouTuber stuff that no one wants to hear. And yeah, it's Video Boy Dave. I will see you in the next video.